Hello everybody, this is Frank, your all-knowing gamer, coming at you with another audio commentary. Today we are going to be looking at Lzuruha Gaming in the Go4LoL tournament, number 49. They're going to be playing up against the enemy team. Actually, they go by Team Empire, but they do have a full name here, which I'm going to be just searching up really quickly for you guys here. Yeah, they go by Empire, but they are called Team Empire Arcadia. So these guys have a full name, and not to be confused with, I think, with the old Empire. Not like the back in the English and British days of taking over things, or the Roman Empire or anything like that. No, this is Empire, the gaming here. They're going to be playing a very interesting team comp right now. And actually, you can see here Lzuruha Gaming moving in there, perhaps hearing my advice from the last game and doing this a little bit funkier of an invade. They're going to be moving in here, trying to do what they can, and potentially going to be able to catch out somebody here from the enemy side, from the enemy team here, potentially going to catch them out in transition here, but they are, it looks like, going to be stealing this red buff. So you can see here that all these champions are going for the red buff. And although Kennen might actually, yeah, it looks like Kennen's going to take the safe way around and find his way back. One thing to note here actually is that Atomic is typically the support player, and Slushy is typically the mid lane player, but they have switched roles now. They're going to be going into this one playing a little bit differently than I think what they're used to, but we're going to see how well that works out for them. Obviously, I think these guys know exactly what they're doing here, and it looks like Vlad, yeah, cannot use his Q over that wall, but red buff is going to be spotted out here. Annie's got her W stun charged up, and she might be able to make a bit of a difference in this fight. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. There's 3 champions here, and things a little bit thrown off for these guys, as it looks like Ted Stickles is going to be picking up this red buff here, as Talandra tanks a little bit of that damage and is now going to be moving up to the top lane here with Tiger Stance, though. And I definitely agree with that. If you're going to be going top lane, you should definitely be taking Tiger Stance. He's 3 creeps behind in experience. However, he's got, I think, a little bit of experience. Yeah, he's got actually a lot of experience. In fact, he's ahead of Kennen in experience at this point. Just down a little bit of CS right now, as Kennen does, well, actually, he's only up down 1 CS. Oh, he's up a little bit of CS, so this is a little bit funky that he's able to go into lane after having stalled so long on that red buff. And you know, you typically always think that that's going to be the case, that they're going to be behind, but it looks like Ted Stickles actually has gotten his red buff stolen, and there's Rammus coming out, and Digester unfortunately getting pounded on here by the Rammus, who's going to get stunned underneath the turret, and this is going to be really nice, I think, for Team Lzuruha here. Shyvana's going to come in there with her burnout finally to coming active, is going to pick up first blood here onto the Rammus, and is going to go around with that red buff of her own and start picking away at this this Sivir here. Is going to take a lot of damage here as well, and Shyvana actually going in there with one more auto attack there, not actually going to be able to finish off the job there. And is Tark going to be able to get a stun off? No, but this is definitely going to lead to a huge advantage here for Team Lzuruha right off the get-go. 500 gold in the lead, not to mention that they're going to have the ability to heal themselves back up pretty handily, and with Sivir actually coming back in the lane here, trying to throw out that boomerang blade just to slow down the going back process of Shyvana here. They do have the bush warded, and you know, you would think that she would want to just allow Shyvana to go back, but no, that's definitely not the case. And one thing that actually kind of sucks is while they were fighting underneath that tower, up to 12 CS now, for Misfortune here, she's going to really have to zone out this Sivir, but not going to happen there. Boomerang Blade just really picking up that CS, and nice job there blocking the double shot, or yeah, I think it's called the double shot, or the bouncing bullet, or whatever that thing's called, double up. Blocking the double up with the spell shield there, really nice work, I have to say, and is just going to try to CS her way through this lane, unfortunately missing those last 2 CS, but either way, I think she's going to have an alright time just getting her way through this one. One thing to note is the character choices. Again, you did have Vladimir being picked up right away, picking up Udyr for themselves this time in for top lane instead of that Rumble, and so you guys can see here that they're playing a little bit differently here in this game, as Empire Arcadia, the team that they're up against, is, I think, a significantly more skilled team than their than the counterparts from last game. I definitely think that they have a much better shot here at taking on Lzuruha Gaming, but you know, these guys have proven themselves time and time again. If you guys watch my stream on a consistent basis, you know that Lzuruha Gaming is somebody that I've been following for a while now, and they've just been proving themselves just over and over to be such phenomenal players. And you know, they're going to be taking on this roughly 2K ELO team as well. And again, this is a Go4LoL 49. And this is the third round here that we're in, and Shatter actually being used, I think, a little bit too early there. Unfortunately, being having it spell shielded there is just going to give Sivir a little bit more mana back, where Soraka obviously is going to provide her with pretty well unlimited mana, but is going to obviously be able to get a little bit extra mana from that. Going for level 2 heal here for the Soraka, it's going to give her a slight edge as far as team fights, or as far as engaging goes. You can obviously provide your lane partner with that decent, really decent armor buff. You can see you're actually going for Infuse level 2 as well, and going in there trying to get off a kill here. Shyvana's going to come in from the backside and is not going to get anything done. She's just going to leave the lane, although I think she definitely could just loop back around here, but getting spotted out, I think, by the creeps there. Ooh, and is actually going to clip the sort of the Sivir with her flame breath, and is going to do a little bit of extra damage there. So ward actually going down. So I think Ted Stickles actually, now that he knows that there is a ward there and it's not actually in the bush, yeah, he could definitely stay. This is one instance where, you know, he's definitely in a good opportunity here to just stick around and pick up a kill. And is he going to do so? Sivir has pushed out now a little bit, and I think that's the farthest that he would have gotten her. Now's a good time, though. In he goes, and is going to try to pick this one up. Is it going to anything to just get spell shielded? No, Digester is going to pick up that kill onto Sivir. So nice job there, actually, coming out from that bottom lane. Good job on the gank as well, coming out from the Shyvana, and just doing a fantastic job here. And it looks like Annie versus Vladimir, and I know I've been focusing on bottom lane for literally the first like 7 minutes of this game, but that's really where everything's been going down. Up at top lane here, you of course have Udyr versus Kennen, where you would honestly just you would think that Kennen would have a significant advantage here, but I think Udyr with that turtle stance is just going to be able to survive this poke. And you know, doing a really good job, though, is this Kennen here at just consistently poking, not just a little bit, but every time he hits anything, he's just going to follow it up with more and more damage, because that turtle shield is pretty tough to crack, especially when you're up against, you know, he's got 64 armor on him right now, as well as 40 magic resist, so he's doing pretty well for himself there, and he's only got those level 1 boots. Ted Stickles is going to come up here with Shyvana and try to just kind of cover this lane here very, very slowly. I think she's going to want to CS this, but CS it nonetheless, and apparently not. It's just actually just going to not pick up some of that CS, so a little bit unfortunate there, just missing the timings on those things, and I don't think she should be pushing this one down. She really needs to leave that for Udyr, and she literally just pushed it to a point where, and this is one of the most frustrating things to watch, she pushed it to a point where Udyr's lane is going to be winning and pushing out, and that's never a good thing. And Kennen is doing the right thing here and just freezing it out as much as possible, and is just CSing as slowly as he can, denying not only CS, but experience as well from this Udyr. So Udyr's going to come back here and be a little bit farther behind here than he wants to be, I think. And he's just going to go in here into turtle stance, and that's the way to go when you're in lane and just having a really tough time there. In mid lane, though, you do have Annie, of course, up against this Vladimir. Vladimir with the revolver already is going to have a friggin' excellent time just CSing his way down here, and any harassment that Annie can put out, even with the blue buff for constant harassment, I don't think it's going to be enough here. You've got Annie halfway down the blue buff, and looking at CS here, she does have a really nice CS count at 68 already. That's pretty impressive. Versus the 60 here of Vladimir, so doing an excellent job for himself as well. Down at bottom lane, 45 versus 60 CS, so about a 15 advantage there in favor of Digester here on Misfortune. And Misfortune, you know, going right into the late game, and I used to full blown just agree with the idea of just going straight up into late game with your range ADs as fast as possible. There's been some kind of variances that I'm starting to see and agree with a little bit more nowadays, but either way, going straight for that and not going and, you know, holding his own opinion, as we heard on the interview with him a little while ago, or rather several days ago, or weeks, I forget exactly how long it was, but either way, he was mentioning that, you know, going into that late game with that eye edge right away is the way to go, and not going for wriggles, you know, get as few Dorans as possible, and, you know, that's definitely a mentality that a lot of these players have, and I honestly have to agree with it to some extent. And actually, it looks like now going right up to full health again. And you can see here the power of Lzuruha when she levels that heal. That is just absolutely brutal how much she's able to heal up her lane partner there. And I'm just getting right back in there. However, still behind 15 CS. I think that's going to stay that way for a little while here. And Rammus is going to just head back into his head back to base, heal up after having pushed down that wave a little bit. Tried to CS with his ultimate, I think, for a little while there. 43 CS versus the 40 CS of Shyvana here, and she is going to be able to pick up blue for herself. As Vladimir, just such a great person to have in mid lane. First of all, he's just super powerful, and secondly, he's you know, he doesn't need blue buff. So even though it is Shyvana and she doesn't necessarily need it either, it's still a nice thing to have on really any character in general, not just any jungler, but just any character in general. Nothing really much happening across the board here. We're already at the 11-minute mark, and I don't think Dragon is really on anybody's minds quite yet. I mean, I think it's definitely up for grabs relatively soon, but I think that something big needs to happen for anybody to really start considering major moves like that. Although Lzuruha is up a good 1,100 gold now, so they're going to be, I think, experiencing a pretty good advantage here. And it looks like the top lane's still struggling a little bit with making sure to get that perfect CS up to 60 CS versus 62. So, you know, things pretty well on par, and things are going very easily there. Rammus, on the other side of things here, is going to be going for a Riddle's Lantern. He does have that Madrid's Razors, and he's definitely going to be going for that Wriggles. It gives him an extra little bit of armor. You're able to go Cloth 5s to start things off. Work right into that Wriggles, and on Rammus, you guys wouldn't think that that's going to be the case, but Rammus scales really well here. I'm going to give you guys a look at his passive. Rammus' shell grants him additional strength by converting 25% of his armor into attack damage. So you guys got to think, once he gets up to like 400 armor or like 300 armor, that's almost 100 extra attack damage, and that is a hell of a lot of attack damage. Not to mention, you pair that up with like an Atma's or something like that, stuff gets real, man. Stuff gets wild after a while there. Looks like, here we go, so there's going to be some positioning being made over this Baron here. Rooter has been caught out here. He is going to flash in. Ultimate going off across both these characters, and it looks like Rammus may very well go down. No, getting away there with just a small amount of health. Does pop with some kind of heal. It looks like the heal coming from Lzuruha using her wish. And it looks like a kill there going tit for tat, though, as Kennen is going to pick up a kill with his Ignite. However, with Rammus, I think, being forced back out of this one, he's going to want to stay around here and go for that, at least relieving the tension on that Dragon. And in all honesty, actually, no. For some reason, I blanked out and thought that Udyr was the jungler, but it's not. So the Smite is unfortunately out of lane right now. But luckily, very luckily for Team Lzuruha here, Rammus got down so low that I think he just did not want to even go for the Dragon, as he still is kind of suffering from that last engagement. Looks like Annie's going to be heading in here, potentially picking up this blue, as level 7 Rammus is actually struggling a little bit with this one, and he's going to be attacking this, but he's got that Madrid's Razor, so he really needs to be careful about that proc. I think if it would have procced on that last one, he would have been in trouble, because he would have taken that, but either way, Annie's going to now have that blue buff yet again, and she's going to be coming back in here, ready to harass her face off. 2 characters over 100 CS currently, and 5 away down for mid lane here. Going to be working her way up there with Annie, but still, bottom lane just doing work, as Misfortune is just CSing like crazy. Doing absolutely wonderful down at bottom lane here, and it looks like that ward is going to spot them out going back, and Sivir here is going to be taking a little bit of damage, but with that heal coming out from Lzuruha, I think she's going to be able to stick around here and do just fine. This is a good time to go back, definitely. It's going to freeze the lane in middle, and with having Misfortune gone back already, they're not going to be able to push that wave down until he at least gets back and is able to see us under his tower. But either way, again, I think Dragon is definitely going to be the major focus very soon here. Samurai Rammus coming in, trying to do what he can. Clearing wards with that Oracle is a really smart play here, and he could honestly, with just the Madrids, as well as just being a tanky Rammus, he could definitely be going for that for the Dragon relatively soon. Although not even having a Vampiric Scepter is going to be really detrimental for him, I think. Not going to be able to do the best work on that Dragon that he possibly could. Not to mention, with both bottom lane characters being here and mid lane, of course, being pretty healthy as well. I think this Vlad, though, should do excuse me, could do a little bit better here working against this Annie. He could definitely go in there and poke, and I don't think Annie has a revolt. Oh, she has a Will of the Ancients. Jesus Lord, apparently not. Will of the Ancients is a really popular item on a lot of characters. Started out just being popular on characters that didn't need mana, but now it's just with that blue buff being able to be traded to mid lane. I definitely think that's a really, really smart play on her part. Going for the Will of the Ages. Down at bottom lane, it looks like, sorry about that, Shyvana actually getting in there into the action, picking up an assist there for Miss Fortune, who is going to just be spiraling out of control soon. If we take a look at the gold right now, you've got only 660 gold, but it looks like with this dragon's going to go down very soon as well. And no wards there to spot that one out for this purple team in Empire Arcadia, and that's going to go down for Lzuruha here. So now going up quite a bit as well. Just want to take a look at this. Going up to close to 1,000 gold now, and when the Jester goes back, he's definitely going to be able to, or when he decides to go back, which I think won't be for a little bit longer, he's definitely going to be able to finish off the at least Infinity Edge, and depending on how long he's forced to stick around for, he's going to be able to do a lot better than that. And it looks like actually bottom tower is going to go down here as well, so Sivir stepping out of lane here is apparently not going into their favor whatsoever. She is going to come back obviously with better shopped items, but I mean, you know, this is going to be a misfortune with now 1,300 gold and going to go back and get that Infinity Edge. Again, I have to assume relatively soon. In mid lane here, it looks like some action coming out. Shyvana's going to use her ultimate and get in there, and actually the ultimate coming out from Vladimir as well. Not even necessary. Certainly amplify the damage, but the extra 300 or 400 damage that it would have done afterwards not even being used there. And mid lane turret's going to go down here as well, so it looks like Lzuruha doing a fantastic job in this one. And if you guys weren't rooting for these guys before, I mean, wow, these guys doing absolute work. Again, this is the Go4LoL number 49 tournament. These guys, we're following Team Lzuruha Gaming here versus Empire Arcadia. This is round 3, so almost moving their way right into round 4, which is actually closing down those brackets very, very nicely. And I think in the next tournament, these guys are going to have an excellent seeding. Down at bottom lane here, it looks like Shyvana almost picking up a kill there onto Sivir, though ended up going back here, I think a little bit worried about the Rammus. Rammus is going to taunt into the tower here, but it looks like Shyvana not really taking too much damage there. One tower hit as well as some damage from Rammus, but Rammus, I think it looks like, took half health there. But Taric is going to go down here with the stun going out, though, turning around, trying to get some damage done onto Rammus here, but with Annie in the fray as well, it looks like this Rammus, with these 3 characters behind him, is going to finish out that combination. So 2 kills there going down for Team Empire Arcadia, still down, of course, 4,000 gold, or 4,100 gold, and you know, they're still going to have to work their way back in this one, but still a very nice exchange for them. And we're really going to just see things kind of balance out here. Some tricksy plays are, of course, going to come out, and I think it's going to come down to this Oracles is going to do wonders right now for Team Empire Arcadia, because they're going to be able to clear out those wards, take map control, and at this stage of the game, when you've got 2 turrets down, you really need that map control. However, doing an excellent job here of hanging on to those turrets here from Team Lzuruha. And you know, up at top lane here, I think things have gotten to a point now where Udyr really is not going anywhere. What kind of items does he have on him? He's got the full Wriggles, he's got the Null Magic Mantle, probably going to be going into the Mercury Treads with that, and then he's of course got level 1 boots, Kindle Gem, which could potentially lead off of a no, he's going to be going for a Spirit Visage, most likely Wit's End later on as well. So this guy definitely going for a pretty standard build, but it's so effective, and no, I don't think anybody can deny that. Turn on your burnout there, Ted Stickles. I think a little bit behind here, is still able to ult though, has that ult ready, and you can tell obviously by the well, I mean by multiple factors here. Off to the side, you can see that it's ready off there as well, but with that big red bar, I think these guys are going to be able to spot that out very well for themselves as well. And actually Golem resetting there, and that's one thing that I think needs to be fixed here, is that bug where Golem just randomly resets itself for no reason whatsoever. And here's Vladimir. I think it's really easy to try to get greedy and pick up those creeps, but doing the right thing here, just in case Rammus would have come around this way, he could have been powerballing and gotten a nice gank off. But with Tibbers already being used, it's a lot of damage that's negated right there, as it does roughly 440 damage. That's obviously negatable in magic damage, but still, nice job there, and working his way off to the side here. And ooh, if Vlad actually would have spotted out that Rammus, he would have done, I think, really well for himself to go in there and do some poke. There we go, doing the right thing, coming in here. using that E and one more E. He's not even auto-attacking here, using the E to make sure that he gets full damage and full healing off of his Will of the Ancients and Spirit Visage. So really, really early lane sustain, and he is not going freaking anywhere, this Vladimir. Yeah, Will of the Ancients and Spirit Visage, that's basically saying I do not want to leave my lane ever. And if I do, I'm going to be tanky as hell, and I'm going to be able to sustain myself in the middle of the fight as well, so long as I think Soraka doesn't get some epic silences off, which I think it may very well come down to, is the silence on the Vladimir, and of course, you know, the silence on Taric might be alright too, but I think silence obviously best off on the caster, especially when it's a Vladimir, and when you can keep him out of that pool for a good, you know, 3 seconds or whatever it is. And you can see here that that is being leveled, no Stark call whatsoever, just leveling that infuse, which is going to extend that silence timing 2 seconds right now. Just brutal stuff. So extending that Star Call timing, just ridiculous here. And you can see actually Rammus using that ultimate. Very quick cooldown on that ultimate, but Talandra is going to come in here from top lane and is going to stun there, using the Tiger Stance to get off as much damage as possible with Shyvana on the backside as well. Is going to pick up that kill with the burnout, so things going even better here, up to about wow, math is like deceiving my brain right now. Wow. 5k gold advantage here. I just completely like brain farted there. I couldn't even think of my freaking name for a second there. Yeah, 5k gold advantage here for Team Lzuruha, so they're going to be doing very nicely coming into this middle stage of the game. Not to mention, I think going into the late game, they're going to be huge. You've got a Misfortune with 203 CS versus 145 down at bottom lane for Sivir there, and Sivir typically is one of the best farmers in the game. Of course, turning things when it goes late game, she is an excellent farmer, and you really can't deny her that, and you're not going to be able to stop her from farming, but either way, really good stuff here, and it looks like a pink ward going down there, but no wards to be spotted, so they're going to go in for this one. Going for the Gusto here, and Taric is going to be able to heal himself up in the middle of all this, and is Rammus going to be able to get off this smite? It looks like no. Smite being used there at the perfect timing there from Shyvana, and this is going to be a major upset fight here for Team Empire Arcadia, and it looks like a flash is going to be forced to use here as well on the Sivir here, and almost calling the bluff there was Shyvana there, but Ignite going down here, forcing a heal out onto Ted Stickles, which is going to heal them both up enough to survive that. I think Shyvana would have been okay, but damn, Taric went down low. Looks like a couple creeps being missed here in the background, but Jester is going to be okay with that, I think, and he's just going to be able to farm this one up. Already got that Infinity Edge, picking up a second Doran's Blade as well. Going to offer some tankiness as well as a little bit of extra life steal, which I think he needs at this point, but maybe a Vampiric Scepter would have been better. I don't know, honestly, which way he would have been the best way to go with it, but it looks like it turned out pretty well for him there. Yeah, and you can see here, actually, I mentioned to Jester that in his last game, he did a fantastic job at CSing, getting up to 360 CS by the end of the game. And it was only like a 35-minute game, so just ridiculous. This guy turning things way into his favor here with all this crazy CS, and actually almost missing a couple there, but ends up picking up the entire wave anyways. Of course, Misfortune, just such an exceptional farmer with that double up, and she's got really, I think, naturally fast attack speed as well. And here we go. Vlad's just going to push down this wave and potentially going for a tower attack here. I don't know. Baron as well as pushing is really the only things on these guys' minds, and you know, doing a really wonderful job at keeping their towers up right now is Team Lzuruha. So they're going to be fantastically, you know, celebrating this position that they're in, as they're not going to be forced to defend too crucially, and even if things go really awry for them and they end up losing like this massive team fight or something, and the enemy team ends up pushing, they got to push through every single tower on the way down a lane because there's been nothing taken. Rammus on this side of things as well is not very tanky, doesn't have a second gold gen item like a Philostone to go with it. Taking a look up here at Shyvana as well, you've got no Philostone on her, but she does have a Heart of Gold, so things are definitely in her favor right now, as her CS is just ridiculously far ahead of this Rammus right now. As far as jungle creeps go, because every jungle creep is worth a little bit more, you know, like double that of a regular creep, so CS, the numbers are worth more for a jungler anyways. as most of their creeps are going to be those bigger creeps. So it looks like coming in here, though, and the Jester doing a little bit of damage to that tower. I think that's the way to go, and the stun is not yet ready for this Frostfire Annie here. Is going to be working her way up to a Rabadon's Death Cap as well, but so is this Vlad, and Vlad has that Spirit Visage yet again to point that out. So he's going to be, again, just so unbelievably hard to kill, and you know, that's basically the problem, I think, with Vlad, is they can't really balance him out all that well. Unfortunately, he's just doing he does so much work in the late game. He's just completely immovable, and he does so much damage. Either way, it looks like Baron fight might be coming up here relatively soon. Of course, wards are going to spot this one out. You've got Kennen moving in there, but Empire Arcadia is going to be pushing in here, and they're pinging for that mid lane tower, which could be a good play, although I'm not sure it's going to be. When you clump up against a Vlad like this, and you take any poke whatsoever, he's just going to shut you down. Banshee's Veil on Udyr right now, as we saw that it did get cracked there by a Shuriken from Kennen. So going into this one, he's going to be have a little bit of susceptibility to a stun, but I really don't think that's going to be too big of a concern for him. He does have Mercury Treads as well, which is going to shut that down also. Red buff is now up right now, and this bush here double warded. And with the oracles, though, that's going to be a nice stuff there. Somehow picking that up with just 2 attacks. Interesting, or unless forcing out a second attack there with one of her abilities. Now Baron is up for contention as well, and that's a pink ward there for purple team. So once this gets spotted out, that's going to be a loss of gold for sure and a loss of map vision. But here we go. Down goes that ward, and Sivir is way too far in the background here for this one. And Baron is going to go down to half health. Remus is going to come in here, charging on the way. He's going to be in a good position to smite this one, though. However, he's going to get knocked back by the Shivana. Very excellent job there, and nice job at turning this one around. Ultimate goes off onto the Annie. Annie's ultimate goes off across a couple people as well. Nice pull there from Vlad. Is going to dodge a lot of those stacks from Kennen coming out, and that's just going to be way too much damage from these guys. And that's going to be a 4-for-0 exchange here without even having Baron buff on them, and that's going to be Tara coming in there trying to do whatever damage he can. Make it rain here, says Misfortune, as she goes in there, spreading that onto the Sivir. And there we go, moving into round 4 here. Team Lzuruha on Go4LoL number 49, really pushing their way forward in this tournament and doing a fantastic job at it, taking down a 2K ELO average team here in Empire Arcadia. So, guys, if you don't follow me yet, youtube.com/Frank Commentaries, PHRANKOMMENTARIES. That's my YouTube. My owned account for my stream, which is daily at 4 p.m. EST, is www.owned.tv/PHRANK, which is just Frank. Twitter is at OneFrank, ONEPHRANK, and you've got me on Facebook as well at Frank. So, alright guys, that's game number 2 that we've been watching here, so doing an excellent job. Already on to round 4 here of this Go4LoL number 49. I expect great things to come for this team, and hopefully we can get into the next one as well, guys. So, this is Frank, your all-knowing gamer, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, peace out.